Okay, folks, welcome back to Shadowlands. Going to do the last storyline for Ravendreth. Been an interesting experience questing through this zone. Started out fine. I did the intro quest, did the first storyline or two, no problem, and then something happened towards the middle there. Early on towards the middle, where it just seemed like it was such a grind. It didn't seem to matter what I did. I could not seem to make any progress without dying a ridiculous amount of times. It was that way on my shaman. It was that way on my mage. So I don't know. I've been equipping all the gear as I've went along and everything. They both were, my shaman and mage were both fairly close to being the same item levels, about 130. Between 130 and 135. They varied a little bit. And yeah, I've changed specs. I did, was thinking about changing talent around there. It didn't seem to matter much what I did. Nevertheless, we have progressed to the final storyline. All that said, this has probably been the zone I've enjoyed questing the most in. I had high hopes for this zone, so it was appropriate that it was at the end. After the intro storyline, the first few after that are about typical length, and then they get somewhat shorter after that. So it didn't take too long. I've done Torgus, and yeah, they kind of have you go through a trial run of that and all that. I've done all that, so I am ready to finish this. I've also discovered, for those that may not have gotten this far yet, or were just curious, you cannot hit 60 and just go off to Oribos and continue on with your campaign. You have to quest through every zone. I was somewhat, had mixed feelings. I was somewhat disappointed. I reached level 60 on my shaman and my mage, and I thought, okay, do I just complete this? Can I come back? And from what I could tell, I got no quest. Upon hitting 60, I went to Oribos and looked around. I got no quest. They're telling me to go do anything else, so I am fairly certain, working under the impression that you have got to finish each zone, which kind of makes sense depending on what they were trying to do with covenants and everything like that. So we have no pathfinder or anything like that. They want you to go through every zone, see every zone, and experience each zone for what it was how it was intended, for what it was supposed to be, before they just let you fly all over the place and skip everything. So I was like, okay, fair enough. They also have said with alts that you should, once you've went through everything once on a main character, that any alt you bring through should be able to pick up where your main left off. So I'm curious to see if I have to do all this again, or if it will just, if my next characters will just pick up where my shaman has left off, because I've been trying to do everything first on my shaman. So yeah.
Come closer, my new friend.
Let's continue on with the final storyline. Okay.
There is no possibility of victory. Oh, is that not exciting?
Hmm. I even was very frugal doing dungeons, since I um, would prefer to do dungeons than questing in some cases. I was very frugal in making sure that I actually was questing through the zone, so I didn't outpace, so to speak, the storyline. And how do I... This is like something really obvious, isn't it? I have been having issues with trying to get around this zone off and on quite a bit here. There's a lot of multi-layered stuff, and you end up on the wrong floor, and then you don't know how to get to the next. Oh, well, it'd probably help if you actually looked. Nope, nope, can't go. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I was very frugal in doing the dungeons instead of just grinding one dungeon over and over and over, and over again. And so I don't know what I could have done differently on gear. It was just really it was just really weird all of a sudden. I was trying to do one specific part and just kept dying over and over and over again. I don't know if I missed something in the zone. When I kind of went back on my I think I was trying to do it on my mage first, and when I went back on my shaman, I thought, well, maybe just being a clothy. I thought, well, maybe that was the issue. I'm not seeing others. I had about equal trouble, I would say, with both of my characters. It was just very slow going, and my poor mage died I don't know how many times. Just very strange. I have come to the conclusion that it's better just to leave the zone-specific spells on the screen, because trying to put them on your bar as you zone in and out of different zones, I imagine, is going to become somewhat of a problem. So they took them all away as you quested from one zone to the other, and it was really weird in some cases because you didn't get any of the you got a class ability and then I guess, what do they call this? There's a class ability and then like a overall zone ability, like a covenant ability, and in some cases you didn't get it until like right before you left the zone. So I assume it's set up more for when you go back to do like world quests and things like that. So it puts me in mind of
I need a target.
Puts me in mind of garrisons and things like that. Okay, so there's 3 more. Okay, so this is the middle one. Nope, there's 4 more. And how exactly am I supposed to get down there? Can I... wait. Oh! There we go. Yeah, that worked well. Okay. Then where is the other one's over here somewhere? Yeah, I think it was somewhat of a toss-up between the... I'm not sure what the actual covenant is called. I think it has a different name, but the Ravendreth kind of zone, their covenant, and Bastion. And quite frankly, what I liked about the Ravendreth sets were the shoulders. That was what I remember from BlizzCon. And when I was looking, and I saw him on a plate character, that was what we all saw to begin with, were all the plate sets. And then when I was looking at the mail sets, because I imagine there's going to be some working towards those over time, the mail set has some pretty... the mail set in general looks pretty... pretty good. Probably the Ravendreth sets have the more attention to detail, I would say. The shoulders, though, looked fantastic, and I'm hoping they're going to let you transmog those sets. There's... I have to go up again, don't I? I do. I don't know where I'm going. You know, it's very strange seeing an area with like very few NPCs. It makes you think you're playing a another sort of game. A lot of people were joking that this zone was based on Bloodborne. I never have actually played Bloodborne. I've seen trailers and like review videos and things like that. I do, for whatever reason, will watch videos on games that was it right here? Oh, good grief. Okay. That I have an interest in, but don't. Suppose don't really have a lot of time to play a variety of games.
Ah, our potential savior of the Shadowlands has arrived.
Okay.
We face the unending, undefeatable, undefiable
Okay.
darkness.
This is pretty much what I was expecting, so... Okay. So we need to do what now? This amount of anima you currently have access to. Okay.
Darkest greeting, more Walker. Come, gather up as much of this anima as you can. This type of binding is temporary, but should strengthen you for the battle to come. We are going to use the anima Denathrius stole against him.
Now, this very much reminds me of Miss. That was the intro of scenarios.
When I led my assault against the castle, the Master turned my entire army to stone with a simple wave of his hand. We will need these soldiers.
On guard!
Denathrius is not the only threat we will need to face. Find enough anima to awaken as many of the Stoneborn as you can.
I was very disappointed when they went into what was after Miss. I guess it was Warlords. I was very disappointed that they didn't do anything with scenarios. They just kind of left it as a feature expansion. It was really a shame. A lot of people liked them. They were 3-person. They were a lot easier to do than dungeons. They had a different setup than dungeons. Really disappointing. It was actually a really good idea that could have been carried over, and they just kind of left it setting in the expansion, so to speak. A lot of people liked them. There were a lot of achievements you could do in there, and I did quite a few of them. Not as many as I thought I was going to, because they really didn't. They were pretty much standalone. They didn't tie into the storyline or anything like that. They were just things you could do for fun. I think eventually, at some point, I think when they introduced Heroic, I think you could get Valor. So I think, assuming that is true, if I'm remembering correctly, I think I might have done some to get Valor for my Legendary Cloak. Because you needed quite a bit. As I remember, like it was into the thousands that you needed, and you only got like, I want to say, I think if you raided, you got maybe 100 something.
I need to target something first.
And then there were smaller things you could do, like dungeons and things like that gave you like 70 something. So I mean, it took you a fair amount of time. If you kept at it though, it was well, it wasn't too bad. A lot of people complained about it. I had time at that point to, or I should say I was playing more, had more free time to play, so it wasn't too bad. I could just do all my daily, weekly stuff and be done with it. I do kind of miss, in hindsight, after Warlords, of course, then they started, they made legendaries. Speaking of the legendary cloak, they made legendaries have a random drop chance just in the open world. And as neat of an idea as that was, because your chance did increase the more you were out in the open world doing things. World quests, or questing, or just whatever. PvP, I think I got one that... I think one character got one at the end of the battleground. There was something to actually having to go and complete a quest line, especially on the legendary quest. You am I working against myself here? Because it seems like this is going down. Maybe I shouldn't be. Oh no, we have to. Okay. Can tell if I needed to fill the bar. I thought I was supposed to be doing something else. Okay, we're good. There was something to having to go do a quest line, especially with the legendary cloak. That's what I started to say. You had trials along the way. If you were a tank, DPS, healer, you had to complete. I did the one for tanking, and for me it took quite a while. I remember spending several hours trying to get I forget exactly what it was, but I remember I had one trouble with one part of the what you had to do, and yeah, spent the better part of an afternoon trying to get past the I think it was a quest. You had to go complete this trial. I'm also told healing was very difficult. Don't remember really hearing much about the DPS part of it. Yeah. Still use that same cloak, or I should say, still use the cloak for time walking. Which I think that's the cool thing with time walking, is you get to use some of your older gear that you spent so much. How much? It doesn't tell you how much anima you need. You get to use all the older gear that you spent so much time acquiring. You know, I think that there was that one spare room in your garrison. I think if you could have put maybe kind of had a trophy room, so to speak, someplace where you could have that would have displayed your
I need a target.
you know, your achievements. If you got the like on this character, and I probably still have it in my bags. Why are my bags not opening? There we go. Yeah. I've got the Hammer of the Ancient Kings. I've got the Legendary Ring. Case in point, I have other legendaries from doing time walking. I think it would have been cool if they would have given you like a trophy room. You could have displayed, or something maybe at the entrance to your garrison. Like, this character has been through this or something, you know. What am I doing? I went in the wrong direction here. Or I am in the wrong direction. Okay. Well, now somehow we have magically filled our anima bar, so... I have been somewhat surprised. A lot of gear has not been either has not been an upgrade or has not been much of an upgrade. My mage, I wasn't too surprised because she had the legendary cloak, which she still has. I have yet to get anything better, so I will have leveled a full 10 levels past when I got it, and it's still the best cloak that I have. What was I supposed to be doing?
This was once the muster field for the Stone Legion. Watch the skies, for they are watching us.
Must I do all of the sailing around here?
I did some mythics and different things on my mage. I think I even
I do not have a target.
Attempted to do some raids for one thing or another. My shaman, however, has mostly just barely started doing mythics just to get her some gear towards the end of Battle for Azeroth. So I was surprised.
I need to target something first.
That there weren't more upgrades for her. Especially with the shield. I always have trouble finding a decent shield. That's why she's using a staff. Now, it's so rare to see a shaman using a staff. I actually got a somewhat decent shield. At least stat-wise, I did not have a decent weapon, though.
Meet death with dignity.
The weapon that it was going to try and give me really wasn't enough of an upgrade
On guard.
to make it worthwhile. The staff was still better. So, as I said, I was trying not to
Prepare yourself for defeat.
just grind dungeons, so I was very frugal with doing dungeons.
Your form is weak and pitiful. Must I do all of the sailing around here?
I mostly did a few just to see what they were like, if there's anything different. Different special than previous expansions. There's not, from what I could tell, at a lower level. I have yet to do one at max level. That is definitely going to be on the list. So I'm very close. I noticed when I hit 60, I unlocked all the dungeons. However, I was just under the item level requirement to do any of the max level dungeons that unlocked or any of the heroic dungeons. So,
Draven, do not make me destroy you!
Call, if you ever cared for me, then trust me now, and stand down! You selfish pup! We do not stand down! We do as we are ordered! Krishal, they woke you to take my place?
Prepare yourself for defeat!
If you
Quickly,
want me,
Walker.
come and
While
get
Draven
me.
keeps them distracted, we must gather as much anima as we can if we are to face Denathrius.
okay, what am I supposed to do now? Do I need to do something here? I can't. Go.
I need a target.
Prepare yourself for defeat!
Let's put that out. And
Must I do all of the sailing around here?
just trying to figure out what exactly it sent me over here for something. Well, it is not, because I guess I just had to kill the mobs around it. Guess is that what I'm doing? Okay.
I do not have a target. It is too far away.
Okay, and then there should be one more? Yes, yes. Let's not pull anything we don't
Ooh, look who's coming. Can I butcher the Maw Walker? Please.
They do have some very nice weapons and so far all I've seen are weapons. I was going to say very nice armor, but I haven't actually had very much armor drop. I did get a sword on my mage. That I know I will be transmogging at some point. I was very disappointed.
Something first.
She kind of has the same problem my shaman does. She either gets a decent weapon and then a less so offhand, or a decent offhand and
I need a target.
Gather what anima you can, and then we move on to Nathrius.
And then a less than great was I supposed to go past these guys? Less than great weapon. To be fair, if my mage doesn't use a staff, it's very it's always proven somewhat difficult to find a decent caster sword, because she can use swords and daggers, wands, what have you. I always prefer swords just because I think it's just a bit of an odd concept that a spellcaster would use a sword. Caster shields you can kind of see. Caster swords are just somewhat of a bizarre concept to me.
I am out of range.
Nevertheless, though, since I'm not
I need to target something first.
one who plays DPS classes often, I typically play healers or
Hello, Maw Walker.
spellcasters.
Nathrius!
This was your valiant last stand. For so very long, you've punished arrogant souls. But instead of learning from their suffering, you've become one of them. You just needed to obey. How fortunate you are to witness the splendor of what is about to unfold. Every precious drop of anima, so painstakingly wrung from the tortured souls of lesser beings, now paves the path for the Banished One to reclaim what was his. And once his liberation is secured, it shall be by his will that all is washed away. The only power that will emerge from this torrent of change is death. Death and those who shaped its victory.
Someone will stop you, Denathrius. Even if I...
Do not speak. Observe. Remember this lesson.
Okay. It is kind of nice to actually use a one-handed sword and be able to collect swords for those rare occasions where I do play a DPS class. I will say the graphics are quite, that's not what I wanted to do, there we go. Graphics are quite nice in this zone. They picked a, kind of a crimson red, which I think was a good choice. May seem like an obvious choice. However, that is the time, if we've learned anything from previous decisions, that somebody goes, well, wait a minute, I have an idea.
Welcome, my fellow doomed friend.
Which is a better upgrade here? Probably the chest. And it's gonna glitch out on me.
The drowns, the lack of souls, the jailer, all connected.
Okay. New expansion, same game. Okay.
Come forth, catalyst of change.
Nope, looks like it's gonna make me restart the whole
I look upon you
game.
and dare
Okay.
to feel
One moment.
hope.